Hi, friends. I had an idea. I don't know if anybody's interested in it, but I thought, why not? So I've been playing around with ChatGPT quite a bit, self-published a couple of books, engaged with ChatGPT, and I just thought, why don't I show you me using ChatGPT? And not for the me part, but for the curiosity of ChatGPT. So I thought I would show you two prompts, that's what they're called, that I've put in today with various projects I'm working on. And so the first one I put in was, what is the basic argument of Walter Brueggemann's prophetic imagination? Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit it. Now, when you do this sort of thing, sometimes it knows the book and sometimes it doesn't. Brueggemann's book came out in the 1970s, so it's been around for a while. And you have to be careful, too, because ChatGPT is not, Google is giving you pretty much information that's out there, but ChatGPT is synthesizing its own information. And so sometimes it's just saying, what would a human say next given my database? And so sometimes it's right and sometimes it isn't. But this is one search I did early this morning while most of you were probably still sleeping. And here's what it said. And this, by the way, is pretty much true. If it said the same thing that it said this morning. It doesn't always say the same thing every time. But for example, it mentioned that the two main functions of the prophets, according to Brueggemann, are criticizing and energizing. And it talks a little about, the idea of how we all have this royal consciousness is the default, and that what we need in the prophetic imagination tries to, first of all, criticize the royal consciousness. What is wrong, or what is not? What do we lament? What should we lament about the current situation? And then the prophet tries to cast an imagination for what could be. Well, looks like it's pretty much come up with a right answer for that one, the summary of Walter Brueggemann's prophetic imagination. By the way, I asked it to summarize one of my books and it got it wrong. So you have to be careful. Here's another search I did earlier today. From a moral development standpoint, like Lawrence Kohlberg, how might one argue that the impulse to punish is a lower level of moral development than an impulse to act virtuously? So let's see what it says this time around. Last time around, it was pretty accurate. Lawrence Kohlberg wrote a book in 1981, basically in which he had three main stages: pre-conventional, conventional, post-conventional, and there were two stages in each of the levels. So here it's basically summarizing the same thing. Should be done soon. The impulse to punish can be seen as reflective of a lower level of moral development because it's tied to external consequences rather than internal principled reasoning. That's true. And this is actually stage 4. There are two stages for each, so this is stage 4 of his development. This phase often aligns with a law and order mentality, seeing punishment as a way. Yeah, so it basically gave the same answer this morning, and it is accurately summarized what Lawrence Kohlberg thinks. I don't know. Would you be interested in me once a week kind of sharing some of my searches or quests? I even thought I could write a book and you could watch while I do information searches. I wrote a book called A Pastor's Brief Guide to Business, and I thought I could do something like that, Pastor's Brief Guide to Biblical Interpretation or something like that. And you could watch the book as it unfolded each week. I don't know if you're interested in this. Tell me if you are. Write it in the comments. And of course, feel free to subscribe.